Christina Superstar has become a celebrity with a cult following. Her life in 1980s New York was documented by her friend and legendary videographer Nelson Sullivan, and his footage of Christina can be found on 5 9th Avenue Project YouTube channel, link below. Christina would become infamous club kid king Michael Alig's very first it girl. It would be through her association with Alig that she would earn the moniker Superstar, a reference to Andy Warhol's superstars, who were the inspiration for Michael Alig's career. Christina would also be portrayed on screen posthumously in 2002 by Marilyn Manson in the film Party Monster. Stay tuned for the most complete and compelling documenting of the life of Christina. In this video, Retro Room's 19th upload on Christina Superstar, we will take a fascinating and tragic look at the life and times of an artist unappreciated in their time. This is Christina Superstars Biography. On May 19, 1954, Christina Superstar was born as Christopher Smith to parents Andrew Wilson Smith Jr. and Jane Ellerby Stewart in Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Mount Lebanon had a population of 28,000, and in the 1950s, Mount Lebanon was the border between the suburbs and the country. It was a time when the milkman was a neighborhood staple, and no one locked their doors. Christina's father, Andrew, was a World War II veteran and an electrical engineer with Westinghouse, providing financial security for Christina and her 2 siblings, Tom and Sarah. But financial security did not guarantee a happy childhood. Young Christina suffered from mental illness from a young age, receiving a schizophrenia diagnosis in her adolescent years. Christina never received further treatment after the diagnosis. She did receive, however, treatment in the form of insulin after she was diagnosed as being diabetic. Christina, who was being raised as Christopher, graduated high school, and after taking several years off of school, Chris enrolled in the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. While at the Art Institute, Chris made friends with Brian Martino, who was a fellow student. It would be through Martino that Chris would meet future love, Lori Gursky. As graduation loomed and a new romance was beginning to blossom, the future was beginning to look bright for young Chris. But a storm was forming on the horizon for the sleepy town of Mount Lebanon, and its name was Christina Superstar. It was after Chris graduated from the Art Institute of Pittsburgh in 1983, the legend goes, that one day, according to Michael Alig, out of the blue, Chris began living as Christina, shocking his family, friends, and neighbors. The scandal was such that Christina was invited by her parents to leave Mount Lebanon. Her parents would pay her expenses, but she must go. Michael Alig would later say that Christina's wealthy parents, quote, simply paid her to leave. They paid for Christina's rent and all of her bills as long as she would simply stay away. Christina was now in exile with her girlfriend Lori and decided to head to New York City, where Christina's friend Martine had moved following graduation to attend Parsons. After landing in New York City, Christina and Lori moved into the legendary Chelsea Hotel. and Christina set out to create a new life for herself. She explored her passion for writing, painting, and at the same time began frequenting several clubs in the meatpacking district, like the Hellfire Club and Club O. These were BDSM clubs, famous in New York City. But Christina had ambitions and a drive to perform, and her early stage persona was influenced by Warhol superstar Nico and her performances with Velvet Underground. These would be the qualities that would catch the eye of a young pre-club kid, Michael Alig. After a few months, Christina had found an apartment, and she and Lori Gursky left the Chelsea Hotel and moved to 220 Park Avenue South, apartment 5A. Lori would later describe the apartment as a lovely area. As they settled into their new home, Christina began seeing a psychiatrist for clearance to undergo gender change. She began taking hormones, but she hesitated on going any further during her time with Gursky. While living in her Park Avenue apartment, she made the acquaintance of Warhol actress Holly Woodlawn, who lived a mere block away, and in 1985, Christina attended Woodlawn's birthday party. But by this time, the relationship between Christina and Lori was on the rocks, due, at least in part, to Christina's volatile and, according to Gursky, abusive behavior. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads from Retro Room. Lori had only one opportunity to meet Christina's brother Tom, and that opportunity came the only time that Christina ever went back to Mount Lebanon for her sister Sarah's funeral. Gursky said that Christina and Tom had virtually no relationship. Upon their return to New York, ultimately the relationship between Christina and Lori had ended, and Lori moved out of the apartment that the two had shared. They would remain in contact over the following years, although things would remain strained. Then, in 1985, Christina met and befriended legendary New York City videographer Nelson Sullivan. The footage that Sullivan would record of Christina over the following 4 years would end up being the only surviving footage of her all of these decades later. Christina now had a quickly growing profile in New York City's nightlife, performing at Tunnel, Pyramid, and Danceteria. Her otherworldly way of speaking, her affected German accent, and wild performances made her the subject of all manner of gossip and rumors. In 1985, Christina would make the acquaintance of a young Michael Alig, who was working at his first nightlife gig as a busboy in Tunnel. But even then, Alig had big plans. He was about to become a huge success, and in the tradition of Warhol, Christina would become Alig's first superstar. For a time, Christina and Michael Alig's stars rose together. And as 1985 came to a close, the best days were still yet to come for Christina. The days to come would be the ones that would garner Christina a cult following some 30 years later, as a fascinating friend and riveting subject of Nelson Sullivan's camera. Be sure to join us next time for part 2 of Christina Superstars Biography. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. That is my first Christina video in about 4 years. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys again for my next upload. Bye, guys.